I'm going to talk to you guys today is the differences in living a life that is reactive versus living a life that is proactive, and how that actually impacts your stress signaling and how you physiologically cope with that stress. All right. So the first thing that I want you guys to think about is going to be your nervous system, and your more specifically though, your parasympathetic nervous system and your sympathetic nervous system. Now, your parasympathetic nervous system is basically where you are calm, you are resting, you're digesting, you're relaxing. You're doing these things that are very relaxing in nature. Maybe it's taking a long walk, maybe it's doing yoga, maybe it's breathing, maybe it's listening to like some form of like meditation app or something like that. Just something that allows you to be proactive with your ability to stay calm and relaxed. On the other side of that, we have this reactive individual. And this reactive individual is somebody that their life is completely not in their control whatsoever. They don't wake up, on their own dime. They wake up because of something else. Once their foot hits the floor, they're required to do every single thing for every single person, and they rarely ever get time for themselves. And what ultimately ends up happening is that they become an empty cup, and then they're looking for things to try to make themselves feel better. And this typically leads people down a path of trying to find these things that are just more like a distraction, more like this avoidance of what reality is, which is basically you living an empty life, you not necessarily being happy, being confident, you probably feeling depressed, maybe oversleeping and things like this. So we're going to talk all about the differences between those two and give you guys some actionable takeaways that you can actually utilize in your own life right now to help you live a more proactive life. You have a heart rate variability scale, okay? Now, when you are parasympathetic, heart rate variability probably isn't that much because you're a calm person, okay? When you live a reactive life and you're more sympathetic dominant, your heart rate variability is all over the place. Now, where we essentially want to live is more in this parasympathetic state where you're actually in control of your life. You're in control of the things that you're doing. Maybe you make a power list, right? And maybe you just execute that power list on a daily basis. Whatever the thing is, you want to make sure that you're in control. When you live a reactive life, you're living in this sympathetic dominant state where basically you're just not in control of anything. Now, why this is important is because if we have this heart rate variability scale, and let's just say as an example, this pen, actually I'll use an orange one so you guys can see it. But this pen is like a scale. Think about it like a seesaw. And on this side, this will be the parasympathetic. This will be your rest and recovery and your happiness. This will be your reactive, which is your stressed out state, okay? Now, if I start my day off putting myself first because I'm being proactive and I'm doing these things that make me feel great about myself, I am tipping my scale to be parasympathetic. So it's going to be harder for me to tip this thing back the opposite direction. Now, if you start your day off reactive, boom, you're starting your day off already stressed out. So every single time something happens that gets you stressed out, your stress is heightened. Your sense of awareness of that stress is heightened. And your ability to control that stress is much less. Typically, people who live over here have a lot of freakouts. They have a lot of explosions. They just blow up. They're like a time bomb. And at one point in my life, I was like this too, because I didn't do the things that I'm talking to you guys about right now. On the other side of this, I want you to think about the very calm individual who starts their day off making sure that they are taken care of first. They wake up before everybody else in their family. Maybe they work out in the morning. Maybe they eat a healthy breakfast. Maybe they read a book, drink a cup of coffee, write in their journal. Whatever they're doing, they live and they start their day off in this parasympathetic environment. Now, throughout your day, you might get some stressors and it might start to tip this way. However, what you'll notice is that the more you give to yourself, the more you live in parasympathetic dominance, okay? You live in peace, you live in happiness. The less you give to yourself, the more you live in sympathetic dominance, stress, fight or flight, reactive. Okay? This is why so many of you lose your minds and your freakouts. And this is why some of us are able to live a life where we don't have as many blow-ups. It's because we're doing our best to try to take care of ourselves first. So what are some things that you can do to regulate HRV? Again, we'll talk about this and I'll just give you guys a list. Anything that allows you to relax. One of the best things I've ever done for myself was when I used to fish all the time, and I would wake up really early in the morning. I'd be able to go fishing. I'd watch the sun come up and I would just, catch a few fish here and there. I'd pray, and it was a very spiritual time for me. Something like that is great. Waking up early, going for a rollerblade, going for a bike ride, going for a walk, waking up, reading a book and drinking a cup of tea or coffee, maybe doing some yoga, maybe doing some meditation work or something like that. All that stuff is very parasympathetic, okay? Now, if you can do that type of stuff, you're gonna have better control over your heart rate variability, which is gonna control your mood throughout the day. Now, keeping something else in mind, that the things that you listen to and the things that you allow into your mind and the energy that you exchange with other individuals can also impact this scale, okay? Now, the more you listen to negativity and the more you listen to negative people and the more you don't appreciate and respect yourself and you're getting all this negative energy, again, sympathetic dominant, okay? So a lot of the things that you're dealing with in your life are reactive and stressed. Now, on the other side of that, if I block all the negative energy out of my life, I don't watch the news, I don't listen to hang out with a bunch of negative people, I can be happier. I can live in this state of happiness. And when I tip, I don't tip as much. So be mindful of that, guys. Just try to be proactive. All it takes is setting your alarm 30 to 45 minutes earlier than you're accustomed to and doing something for yourself before the day grabs a hold of you. If you don't schedule your life will be scheduled. God bless you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.